Yes, apart from the fact, of course, it's not free at the point of use because we do all pay for it. But Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon was forced to defend her position, declaring that the principles behind the NHS were, quote, not up for discussion. So her comments follow reports that NHS Scotland has discussed a two-tier system that would, get this, mean that the wealthy would pay for their own medical treatment. According to leaked minutes of a meeting, health officials were given the green light by NHS Scotland to Caroline Lamb to discuss reforms, who's the NHS boss up there, to the service, which is facing a £1 billion black hole in its finances. Gosh, well, joining me now is the former SNP Glasgow City Councillor Austin Sheridan. Austin, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. What's wealthy, then? Who's wealthy?
Well, as I say, it's leaving up for discussion in regards to whether the NHS should be free at the point of need or not. I mean, it will always be free at the point of need. It's not really for me to define, and I don't want to define who should be getting free treatment and who shouldn't be, because it's just not in my political DNA to do so, or the SNP's DNA. I mean, there's been a discussion, there's been minutes leaked over changes that the people might want to bring to the NHS, but at the end of the day, it'll be policy makers in Parliament that decide what happens to the NHS. And I don't believe that there's any political party in Scotland that would propose having a two-tier NHS system.
So just to clarify then, the SNP absolutely don't think that it's a good idea for people who are well off to have to pay twice. So they pay taxes for the NHS and then they'll pay for their own healthcare. That's been ruled out. That's off the table, is it?
Off the table, absolutely, and because people that are earning more money pay more tax into the system, so of course they should be entitled to the same services and access to those services as anyone else. Another thing that we should always remember as well is that we do have a private healthcare system in the UK, and what you'll tend to find is that for those people who can afford to pay for private healthcare, potentially to speed up treatments and so on, well, wealthy people do that already, and there's lots of businesses, for the company that I work for, that provide a private healthcare scheme, for, in case, heaven forbid, anything could happen to me or any of my colleagues. So these are already things that wealth creators pay for.
Yeah, exactly. What's the SNP's track record like when it comes to actually looking after its own health service up there, in a sense? Because clearly, a vote for independence would mean a vote, as far as I understand it anyway, to have complete, total control over the healthcare system. What's Nicola Sturgeon's track record like when it comes to health? Because last time I checked, there was a bit of a contaminated water scandal involving baby deaths and also, the highest drug deaths in Europe.
Well, when it comes to the contaminated water, I mean, when it comes to a subject like that, we have to be very sensitive and be mindful of those who have been impacted by it. And certainly, we should look to see, what any inquiry, brings about as a result of that, and we should send our thoughts to those affected. In terms of drug deaths, absolutely. I mean, Scotland does have a problem with drug deaths. I was really pleased to see that the recent figures, showed a decline in Scotland in drug deaths, whereas south of the border drug deaths had increased. So it's certainly not just Scotland that has these issues. They're not particular to Scotland. They're issues that all governments in the United Kingdom are facing, no matter what complexion, particularly after coming through such a damaging pandemic.